Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Stoic signalers, be brutally honest, women don't always come back because they miss you, they don't return, because they suddenly realize how much you mean to them, and they definitely don't crawl back because they've magically fallen head over heels overnight. No, the truth is far more complex, and for most men it's going to sting. Women often come back after no contact because of one powerful forced loss of control. When you cut her off, truly cut her, you shatter her sense of dominance in the relationship. Dynamic, no calls, no texts, no breadcrumbs. It's like you flipped the script and suddenly you're no longer chasing. That shift unsettles her because, like anyone, she craves validation. She's used to being the center of attention, the one pulling the strings. When that power vanishes, it sparks a fear that you've moved on, fear that someone else has taken her place, fear that she's no longer the prize in your eyes. Here's where it gets even more controversial. Most women aren't coming back for you. They're coming back for the power they lost. It's not about your amazing personality, your looks, or your success. It's about how they feel when you're not chasing them, that feeling of absence. The void you've created forces them to act, and here's the kicker. Many men blow it at this stage. She texts, calls, or shows up out of nowhere, and you think it's love. You fall back into old patterns, begging for her attention, being overly available, or confessing your feelings. Guess what? That's exactly what she wanted. She gets the upper hand again, and the game resets. No contact works, but not for the reasons. Most men think it's not magic, it's psychology. If you understand the real reasons women return, you won't just have the power to get her back, you'll have the power to decide if you even want her anymore. Once she misses the power she had over you when a woman has control over a man, it makes her feel powerful. This dynamic is subtle but very real as long as she knows she can dictate the terms of the relationship. Whether it's how often you contact her, or how much effort you put into winning her over, she feels secure. The power she holds over you gives her confidence. When that power is suddenly taken away, she's forced to face an uncomfortable truth. She doesn't have control anymore. This is where the no contact rule works. Like magic, you've stopped chasing, and now she has to chase the validation she used to get so easily. You no longer give her the emotional responses she expects. The texts, the calls, the effort, you've cut it all off. This shift disrupts her. She goes from being the one who controlled the pace to being in the dark. She doesn't know what you're doing, where you are, or who you're talking to. At first, she might enjoy the space, but over time, she'll start to wonder, does he miss me? Is he thinking about me? The longer you stay silent, the stronger the pull becomes. She might even reach out, testing the waters to see if you'll respond. The same way, this test isn't about rekindling feelings, it's about regaining the power she lost. Take Mark and Sarah. Mark was always the one texting Sarah, making plans and showing how much he cared when Sarah stopped putting in the effort. Mark was always there, chasing her, but then Mark decided to stop. He stopped texting, stopped calling, and gave her no reaction. Sarah, who had been used to getting his attention so easily, began to feel the shift. She no longer had the upper hand. Weeks later, she reached out, but not to express how much she missed him. She wanted to see if he would still chase. It wasn't about him. It was about her feeling in control again. 2, you stop chasing and it drives her crazy. The moment you stop chasing a woman, you disrupt the dynamic she's become used to. For many women, being pursued feeds their sense of value and desirability. It reassures them that they're the center of your world. But when you suddenly stop chasing, it's like flipping a switch in her mind. She's no longer sure where she stands, and that uncertainty drives her crazy. Your attention was her security blanket. Every text, call, or effort you made reminded her that she was important to you. But when you remove yourself from the equation, she starts feeling an emotional vacuum. She might not have appreciated your constant presence before, but now she notices the silence. That silence speaks louder than any words because it forces her to confront what she's lost. Stopping the chase also shifts the balance of power. She's used to being the one pursued with you on the defensive, but now She's in unfamiliar territory. Who is he chasing instead? Why doesn't he care anymore? Those thoughts gnaw at her, and the idea of you being uninterested becomes unbearable. She begins to overbalance the situation, replaying conversations and wondering if she made the wrong move. Think of James and Emily. James was always the one initiating plans, calling Emily and showering her with compliments. Emily liked the attention, but didn't feel the need to reciprocate because she assumed James would always be there one day. James stopped. He didn't call, didn't text, and didn't react to her social media posts at first. Emily shrugged it off, assuming he'd come back, but as days turned into weeks, she started to question everything. Why wasn't James chasing her anymore? She began checking her phone, constantly wondering if he had moved on. Eventually, she reached out using a casual excuse just to get his attention again. For James, this wasn't about playing games, it was about taking back his value and letting Emily realize what she had taken for granted. 3 no contact makes her feel like she's losing control. When you go no contact, it shakes a woman's sense of stability in the relationship. Dynamic control for her isn't about manipulation, it's about predictability. When she knows how you'll respond when you'll text, or how much you care, it gives her a sense of certainty the moment you stop communicating. That certainty vanishes, and it leaves her feeling uneasy. Think about it. As long as you're available, you're an open book. She knows where she stands and doesn't have to wonder about your intentions, but once you disappear, she's left in a state of confusion. What is he thinking? Has he moved on? Does he still care? These questions begin to dominate her thoughts because the predictable pattern of your attention is gone. This feeling of losing control isn't just unsettling, it's frustrating. She's used to you being predictable, perhaps even a little too eager. And now you've flipped the script. She can't read you anymore. And that creates a sense of urgency. Suddenly the ball is in your court, and she's the one who has to figure out how to regain her footing. It's not just about emotions, it's about pride. 2. No one likes to feel like they've lost influence over someone they once had wrapped around their finger. When you break contact, you're showing her without saying a word that she doesn't control you. You've taken back your power by refusing to play the game on her terms. This creates a paradox for her. On one hand, she might feel like she doesn't want to chase you after all. Who likes admitting they've lost control? On the other hand, the silence you've created gnaws at her because it signals you're no longer prioritizing her. That's a blow to her ego, and whether or not she's aware of it, she'll feel compelled to re-establish the connection just to regain that sense of control she had before. This is why so many women return after no contact. It's not necessarily about love or missing you, it's about regaining the stability and dominance they felt when you were chasing. By stepping back, you've introduced a challenge she didn't anticipate, and it's one she feels the need to solve, for she can't handle being replaced. One of the most powerful triggers for a woman to return after no contact is the fear of being replaced. When you stop reaching out, it signals to her that you might be moving on, perhaps even seeing someone else. This thought alone creates a sense of panic. She can handle distance, but the idea of someone else filling the space she once occupied is unbearable. You've been the center of her attention, and the idea that you could move on so easily makes her question her own worth. It stings. She may tell herself she's fine, that she doesn't need you, or that it's no big deal, but deep down, she's wondering if you're truly over her, or worse, if you've already found someone new to replace her. Women thrive on feeling desired, but when she perceives that the man she's been involved with has emotionally or physically moved on, it triggers a competitive instinct. It's not always about love, it's about proving that she's still valuable to you. She doesn't want to lose the place she once held in your life. This fear of replacement is often more intense than any other feeling. It forces her to act, even if it's just to test the waters. She might reach out trying to get a reaction from you, or she might start subtly checking up on you, seeing if you've moved on. The simple fact that she sees the possibility of being replaced makes her want to re-enter the picture often, in an attempt to reassert her position as the one you care about most. The key here is that women, like anyone, have a deep need to feel irreplaceable when they sense that someone else could take their place. It creates a sense of insecurity, and that insecurity pushes her to return sometimes without even realizing it, because she doesn't want to face the reality of being replaced, not just in your life, but in your heart. As music, well, 5, you were the one who was always available. Let's get real for a second. Many men make the mistake of being too available. You drop everything when she texts. You cancel plans just to hang out with her. You're constantly there, giving her attention at the drop of a hat. And while that may feel like what she wants in the moment, it's not. What keeps her coming back, in fact, it can be a major turnoff, is the harsh truth. Being too available makes you look desperate. Women don't value what they can have whenever they want. They don't crave what's easy to get. When you're always around, always available, it signals to her that you have no life outside of her. You're at her beck and call, and that's not the kind of man who sparks desire. If you're constantly waiting by the phone or jumping through hoops to please her, you've already lost the game. You've allowed yourself to fall into the trap of thinking that being there for her all the time will make her appreciate you, but all it does is decrease your value. You're not a challenge, you're predictable, you're always there, and that's exactly what she doesn't want. Now let's be clear, it's not about playing games or being cold. It's about having your own life, your own interests, your own plans. When you're constantly available, she knows she can have you whenever she needs you, and guess what? That's exactly when she'll stop appreciating your presence. Wake up, guys. You've got to stop making her your whole world. Women are attracted to men who have their own passions, their own purpose, and their own sense of independence. When you show her that your life isn't revolving around her, that's when she starts to notice. That's when she'll feel the pull to come back, because now she's not just trying to maintain control. She's trying to win you back. So stop being so available. Stop waiting for her to text first, and start living your life like you've got bigger things to focus on. That's when she'll realize your worth and begin to feel the gap. When you're not, music, around 6, she hates the silence because it exposes her feelings. Silence is a powerful thing. When you go, no contact, the absence of your words. Attention and presence creates a vacuum that speaks louder than anything else. And for her, that silence can be deafening, because it forces her to confront feelings she's been avoiding. Women often rely on emotional cues and interactions to validate their place in someone's life. When that communication stops, it's unsettling, even for the most confident woman. Here's the thing. Silence leaves room for overthinking. She begins to wonder why you're not reaching out. Have you moved on? Are you doing better without her? Is she losing her grip on the situation? These thoughts aren't just bothersome, they're intrusive. The quietness triggers her to look inward, and she might start realizing just how much she misses you. Women don't like silence because it shifts the emotional balance while you were chasing her. She felt secure in the idea that she had your attention, even if she wasn't fully committed, but now the roles have reversed. Your silence forces her to face an uncomfortable truth. She cared more than she let on, and that realization hits harder than any argument or confrontation ever could. This silence also highlights one of the most overlooked aspects of relationships, the power of emotional space. When you pull back and stop communicating, you're giving her time to reflect. At first she might act indifferent, she might even convince herself that she's better off without you. But as the days go by, the lack of contact starts to eat at her. She'll begin replaying moments in her head, questioning what went wrong. And eventually, she'll come to a crossroads where she has to decide whether to reach out or let you go. For most women, the idea of staying silent indefinitely is unbearable. Silence forces vulnerability. It forces her to acknowledge emotions that were easier to ignore when you were always there. That's why many women break no contact before men do. They hate the silence because it's no longer about power or control. It's about dealing with the emotional impact of losing someone who once cared deeply. Your silence is your strength, and it's often the one thing that makes her see you in a different light. Don't underestimate its power. 7 women love the chase, but they hate losing it. Let's be real here. Women love the chase. It's thrilling, exciting, and yes, sometimes even a little maddening. There's something about the pursuit that gets their adrenaline going. But here's the part most men miss. They hate losing the chase. You might think that once you've caught her attention, the game is over, but the truth is, it's never really about catching her. It's about keeping her interested, keeping the chase alive, and maintaining that sense of mystery and challenge. This is where most guys screw up. They get comfortable once they've made an impression, thinking they've won, but women don't want to be one. They want to keep winning. They want to feel like there's still a challenge, still something to work toward. When they no longer feel the chase, when they sense that you're no longer interested in pursuing them, that's when the attraction starts to fade. Women love being the object of someone's pursuit because it makes them feel desired, special, and sought after. But when they sense that the has ended, they begin to question whether they're truly valued for who they are or just for what they bring to the table in the moment. The thrill of the chase is what makes the connection feel meaningful. It's when things become too easy that they start to lose interest, but don't get it twisted. The chase is not about playing games or being fake. It's about maintaining your own life, your own purpose, and your own interests, while still showing her that she's worth the effort. When she sees that you're busy with your own life, but still make time for her, she'll see the chase is something real, not just a short-lived game. So if you want to keep her coming back, don't just stop the chase once you think you've got her. Instead, embrace the fact that women need to feel like they're worth pursuing. The moment you stop showing interest, the moment you stop giving her something to chase, is the moment she starts to lose interest. 8. Your absence makes her realize you're not desperate. You might think that being available 24/7 or always being there for her is what will make her appreciate you. But here's the truth. Your absence is what makes her realize you're not desperate. It sounds backwards, right? You'd think that constantly showing up and making yourself available would make you more desirable. But when you're always around, always ready to drop everything for her, it starts to feel like you have nothing better to do. It makes you appear needy. And let's be honest, no one is attracted to desperation. The reality is this: women are drawn to men who have their own lives, their own purpose, and their own priorities. When you pull back and stop chasing her for attention, she starts to notice the difference. It forces her to confront the fact that you're not like every other guy who's constantly available for her. Instead of feeling secure and the idea that she can always reach you, she begins to realize that you have boundaries, and that's what makes you stand out. When you're always there for her, it can sometimes feel like she doesn't have to put in much effort to keep you around. But when you step back, when you make her work for your time and attention, it triggers something inside her. She starts to feel the absence. And that absence is a reminder that she has to step up if she wants to keep you. The moment you stop acting like you're desperate to please her, that's when she starts to think, wait, maybe I need to make more of an effort here. Here's the kicker. Your absence makes her see your value. When you're not there all the time, she starts to realize that you're someone who doesn't need her to feel validated. You're a man who's comfortable on his own, who has his own life, and who isn't relying on her for happiness. That's the kind of man who sparks attraction, not the one who drops everything just to stay in her orbit. So don't be afraid to step back. Don't be afraid of the silence. Your absence will make her realize that you're not desperate, and it will make her wonder what she might be missing. 9. She comes back to test if you'll chase again. Ever wondered why she comes back after you've pulled away? It's not always about missing you or wanting to reconnect. It's often about testing you to see if you'll chase again. Think about it. When you stop chasing, when you step back and let her come to you, you create a shift. That shift makes her question your level of interest and makes her wonder if you'll pursue her once again, or if she's truly lost your attention for good. This isn't always a conscious decision on her part, but it's a pattern many women follow. Once you stop putting in the effort, once you stop being the one to reach out first, something happens inside her. She starts to wonder, does he still care? Is he still interested in me? This is when she'll make the move to come back. But the real question is, will you chase again? Will you return to the same pattern of neediness and over-attachment, or will you continue to maintain your emotional independence and let her earn your attention. Let's face it, women love to know they're wanted, and when they stop feeling pursued, when they realize that you're not hanging on their every word, they can get insecure. This is where the testing comes in. She'll come back, whether it's through a text, a call, or just a casual conversation, to see if you'll start chasing her again, just like before. But here's the catch. If you chase her again after she's tested you, you lose your power. Women want men who are emotionally stable, men who are secure enough in themselves to not jump at every chance to win her back. If you prove that you're willing to drop everything just to keep her interested, you're essentially saying that you don't have anything better going on, and that makes you less attractive. So when she comes back to test, you don't fall into the trap of giving her the attention she expects. Instead, show her that you're still living your life, still pursuing your goals, and still emotionally independent. This will make her question her actions and will keep her wondering if she's truly worth the chase. She returns because it's about her ego, not love. Here's a truth that may sting a bit. She returns because it's about her ego, not love. Now, don't get me wrong, she might have some feelings for you, but that's not the driving force behind her decision to come back. What's really going on is that her ego needs validation when you pull away, when you stop chasing, when you stop giving her the constant attention and validation. It forces her to confront a painful reality. You're not chasing her anymore. And that's a hit to her pride. Think about it. When she had you around all the time, she felt secure in her place in your life. She felt desired, special and important. But once you stopped chasing, once you gave her space and pulled back, that's when she began to feel something she's not used to, uncertainty. She wonders if you're still into her. She starts questioning whether she's still the center of your world, and that's when her ego kicks in. Her return is a reaction to that uncertainty. It's not always about love. It's about proving to herself that she still has control over your attention. She wants to know if she can still make you want her, if she can still turn your world upside down with just a look or a word. She comes back to see if she can still command your attention, to see if she's still important enough to make you drop everything and chase after her. It's a power move, a way for her to test her hold over you. Here's the cold truth. Women love the feeling of being desired. And when you stop chasing, when you stop putting her on a pedestal, it forces her to deal with the possibility that she's lost that power over you. So she returns to test the waters and see if you're still vulnerable to her charm, to see if you'll fall for her all over again. But don't get it twisted. Her coming back doesn't always mean she's ready for a relationship or even that she's in love with you. It means she wants to feel wanted, desired, and like she still has control over your emotions. It's about her ego, not music, love. Here's the bottom line. Women don't come back to you because they miss you. They come back because they miss the power they had over you when you disappear, when you stop chasing. They realize they're no longer the center of your world. And that's when they start wondering if they can get that power back. It's not love, it's ego. So the real question is, will you fall back into the pattern of chasing, or will you stay strong, emotionally independent, and let her see that you're not the type of man who gets pulled around by her ego? If you've ever been in a situation where a woman returned after you pulled away, drop your experiences in the comments. I want to hear about it. I'll personally reach out to connect and discuss more about what went wrong, what went right, and how you can keep your power moving forward. Stop chasing and start living your worth is not tied to her attention. She'll always come back when she knows she can't have you, but it's up to you whether you let her stay. Thank you for watching, and as always, this is the Stoic approach to life.